This morning we're going to be hearing a story from Errin Mixon, who is this who you know as this amazing voice in the Glide Ensemble.
Thank you. I'll tell you a little secret about the microphone stand. I'm scared of them. I never know how to work them. Good morning, Glide. Good morning, Errin. I'm Errin. I was thinking about what to say up here this morning, and I realized that it's been 7 years this month since I first walked into Glide. Thank you. I used to sit over in that neighborhood over there, and I knew on that very first day that I had to be up here with the choir. There was just no question in my mind. My heart just tripled in size on that first day, and I was looking around like, is anybody else feeling like this? But it took me almost 6 months to get up the guts to audition. I had just auditioned for the Oakland Interfaith Gospel Choir, and I didn't make it in, and I was feeling too scared to try it again. So I came every week, and I sat in the pews while I worked up the courage to sing. And it took me a while, because I was even afraid to stand up during the songs that really moved me. I wasn't used to displaying that kind of emotion, and I didn't want people looking at me. Eventually, I did stand up, and I kept my eyes very firmly closed. And even though my heart was beating a little faster, nobody really seemed to notice me, and that was okay. And then one day, as the service was ending and people were filing out of the church, one of the choir members approached me and said, "We see you out there." And I was just mortified. I wasn't ready to be seen. What I didn't realize back then is that you can see a lot of stuff from up here. I've got lousy vision, and I can see people chewing gum in the back row. I've seen people fall asleep. You know who you are. Somebody in the back row just raised his hand. I've even seen people sneak up to the balcony to get romantic. Yeah. 90% of the church can't see you, but we can see that from up here, so just beware. So I guess in retrospect, it wasn't hard for the choir to see me standing up in the 5th row, but at the time, that woman's comment really shook me. Anyway, I finally did join the choir, and as I approached my first solo, I was petrified for all the obvious reasons, but mostly because I didn't want people looking at me. I was taking voice lessons with Vernon at the time, and I was very aware of how highly visible he was, and I didn't think I could cope with that if it came to it. I remember asking him, "Do you ever wish you could step out of your skin when you walk through these doors and just be yourself?" Thinking at the time that being seen and being yourself were mutually exclusive. It took me a while to realize that you could be both. So I think it actually took a couple of years before I gathered the confidence to even look out into the congregation while I was singing. I used to stare through the stained glass window upstairs. I couldn't look anybody in the face because I was too afraid to see you looking back at me. But the idea that you might not be looking at me was even worse. So I just avoided everybody's gaze. And then one day, I chanced to look into the audience, and somebody was smiling at me. So I tried it again, and somebody else was singing along with me. And my spirits just lifted. So I tried it again, and somebody else was yawning, but 2 out of 3 ain't bad. And over time, I got more and more comfortable with the idea of being visible. And the more you saw me, the more myself I was. I mean, if we're being honest, this is probably the least scary stage in the whole world. I could stand up here and throw up and then pass out, and some of y'all would still give it a standing ovation. Let's be real. There is a great amount of love and support here, and we are very, very lucky to have this place. And in just a moment, I'm going to talk about our responsibilities to it. But first, I just want to say this. Shortly after I was asked to lift the offering, something happened that really shook my world up. And as much as I want to share it, it's not the kind of thing that I can discuss in front of an audience. So when I was composing my thoughts for this offering, I wondered, how do I say what's in my heart without really saying much at all? And I realized that it comes to this. Sometimes we're judged by people who don't know us. People who've never taken the time to even look us in the eye, let alone really see us. And there's nothing we can really do about that. You know, it's not fair, but there it is. Sometimes people would rather not see you because then they have to make space in their heart for who you actually are, rather than who they want you to be. And there's not a lot you can do about that, except, you know, don't buy the chicken. And don't buy into the hate. My hating them back is no better than them hating me in the first place. There may be nothing I can do to change some people's minds about me. I got to accept that. But I've got to find something to love about them, or else they become stones in my heart, just weighing me down. And that's really all we can do, right? Hate is never bested by hate. All we can do is love them back. Being here has taught me that. Being here makes it possible for me to love those people who don't like me, even if it's just a little bit. I need that. I think we all need that. How lucky are we to have this place where we can come just as we are? Huh? Right? Whether we're broken or scarred or scared or lonely or even happy. When we're sick or in need or invisible. Sometimes I stand up here and I count my blessings while I'm looking out at your faces, and they are numerous. And most of those blessings have come to me directly from this place. All the tiny miracles that have happened to me over the years, here. One time I was having trouble making ends meet, and somebody gave me $40. He said, I just won this from a scratch lotto ticket, and now I know what I'm supposed to do with it. Another time, I was uninsured and I got really sick, and the clinic upstairs took better care of me than Kaiser ever did, and that's no exaggeration. And there have been days in the past where I wouldn't have made it out of bed if it weren't for this choir. This place gives me so much every day, and I know that I don't give enough back. It's not on purpose. Every week when the offering basket comes around, my pockets are empty. I don't have my purse with me up on the stage. I make a mental note to bring money with me next week. Sometimes I'll text Spirit to 20222 to donate $10 to Glide. Message and data rates may apply. Sometimes I'm a little low on funds, and I console myself that my hours of service with the choir count as my contribution. And they do. But the truth is that I can afford to give more. I've never missed a dollar that I've put into this place. Even on those rare occasions when I've given more than I was really comfortable with, I never missed it. And you know what else I don't miss? The $55 a month that I was paying for a gym that I don't use. Is there anybody else out there who can relate to that, maybe? Yeah. One day we're all going to have fabulous bodies. But today, while I'm actively sitting on my couch, somebody else is outside, sitting on the ground, going hungry. And I can feed that person like 18 meals with the money that I'm just throwing away each month. My someday should be somebody else's today. And there are green pledge cards in your pews. They look like this. I'm going to fill one out today, and I hope that you'll do the same. Because I've got a lot of good intentions that I don't always fulfill, and I don't think I'm alone in that. And good intentions are great, but they don't feed people. It's our contributions and our actions that really make a difference out there. And by filling out this card, I don't even have to think about it. There's no way that I can pay you all back for the love and support that you've shown me over the past 7 years. But I can pay it forward. This is how I'm going to do that. This is how I thank you for seeing me when others won't, and during those times when I couldn't even see myself. You keep my heart open when it's trying to close. And because of that, I've known more true joy in these past 7 years than in the rest of my life combined. So I'm going to pay it forward, and I'm going to love them back. I'm Errin, and I am glad.